I was a Gleek when the show was on. I watched every episode when it
Yeah.
originally aired. But have you noticed, a lot of people have been revisiting, I think, it either during the pandemic, and I know TikTok has really grabbed a hold of it.
I
Just like,
know.
have you seen any of that yourself?
Oh yeah, it's crazy. It felt like it came up as this very quiet wave. I think once it moved to Netflix, and then what happened was also a whole new generation of kids who were just born when Glee came out. They were discovering it. I will also say that I feel in this second wave of Glee, my character Terry Schuster is getting a better um reception.
People
If
don't like Mr. Shoe on Twitter,
they
especially,
don't,
and
what
TikTok.
happened? It's because he's a cheater. But it's kind of interesting because it was a little bit of a difficult character to play because she was, considered this villain and nobody liked her and she was a liar. And I
Yeah.
always thought, look, this woman, as misguided as she is completely generated by a desperate desire to save her marriage and keep her man, obviously with terrible motives.
Yeah.
And so it's been kind of interesting because now people have reached out and said, you know what, now that I look back, that Emma, that guy was married. Why was she hanging around him? And why wasn't he going home after Glee rehearsal? Why was he hanging around? And so I feel a little bit of redemption, I would say.
Right. Justice
Yeah.
for Mrs. Schuster.
Justice for Terry.
I do want to ask about your other Ryan Murphy show, Nip Tuck. I,
Yes.
recently rewatched it myself, and
I love that.
very crazy, crazy show.
So ahead
But
of its time. I mean,
yeah,
maybe
I
not
mean,
so crazy today, but at the time, everyone was like, what?
it's still crazy.
Is it? Yeah, I guess that's true. Actually, you're right.
It's just
It
like,
is.
I just curious for you, when you get the scripts each week, what
Mhm.
is the reaction like? Because, there's some wild, wild stuff that even your character
I
went
know.
through.
Somebody asked me once if I ever said no on that show. Did I ever say, that's too far. I'm not going to do that. And it's interesting. It never crossed my mind. And it's not because I'm somebody who doesn't have boundaries. I think
Yeah.
it's because I felt that character, she was such an amazing character. And I had such love for her. I always thought of her. I had a specific person that I know in mind. And when you have that friend who just keeps running the same pattern, but is
Yes.
expecting a new result. Yeah.
Yes, we
And I,
all have one.
right, we do. And you love them, but you also are thinking, how many times are
Yeah.
you going to reinsert yourself? And that's who Gina was. And, especially back then, I don't think that people were writing such complex characters for women. And so I felt very protective of her, and I thought it was plausible that she would put herself in these ridiculous situations in hopes of getting a new result each
Yeah.
time.
And, how do we get you on American Horror Story? Get you back with
I
Ryan
know.
in
I
the
mean, there's been
universe.
like 30 seasons. How many is it going to take for me to get over there?